Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial on our channel. In this one we are going to be focusing on Spring Data JPA. If you don't know what Spring Data JPA is, then you can take a look at this page which I have currently opened. I will be linking it in the description of the video. I won't be getting into these details, so that's not what's the part of this tutorial. So this is something that you can read upon on your own. That being said, I'm going to switch to our Spring Initializer page where we are going to be creating our project. As with most of the tutorials on this channel, we are starting on this Spring Initializer page where we are creating our project basically. So we're always starting with Java language, all of the Spring Boot properties, some here metadata that we have changed, and the most important part are the dependencies. You can see here that we have Spring Data JPA, of course, and then we have also H2 database. So we're going to be using H2. It's an in-memory database, which is going to support us when we are writing our integration tests. Once we have created our project, we're going to be importing it in IntelliJ, where we are going to be doing a couple of things. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on creating our distributed repository. Then we are going to be creating one of the entities that we are going to have in our project. And then we're going to create a service and a repository for that entity. And then at the end, we're going to write some tests just to see how our application works. Okay, then let me not take your time that much, so let's just jump into the implementation. So let's switch to our IntelliJ. I have currently imported a project that I have generated, and this is my basic structure, so it looks like this. So the first step that we want to do is we want to create a new package, and we're going to create our distributed repository interface there. So let me create that, and then I'm going to explain you what we have. And here it is. So we have created our distributed repository interface. As you can see, we are providing it with our entity type, and it also extends the JPA repository. So this comes from the Spring Data JPA. We're also adding the no repository bean annotation here, basically telling Spring this is not a repository for one of our entities. It's just an interface that we're going to be implementing in our actual repositories. Okay, now in order to enable our JPA repository, we need to implement this class. So in this interface, we're going to be creating the distributed repository implementation class. So let me create that, and then I'll again guide you through it. And here we are. So this is the implementation of our distributed repository. As you can see, it extends the simple JPA repository. So this one actually provides it with some of the methods that we can use. Like you can see here, we have a method to delete the entity. We have the method to delete all by IDs and stuff like that. So this is something that comes with this class, which is super nice. And we're also implementing our distributed repository interface that we just created. To its constructor, we're providing this entity information. So basically telling what's the type of the entity. So this is the way we're building this is it's actually distributed, as the name says, so you can reuse it for all of your entities. And you also have to provide the type of the ID that your entities will have. So in my case, I'm just going with string. So my entity IDs will be of type string. You can put here whatever you want. And then also, of course, we have our entity manager that will help us with all of the persistence stuff. Okay, great. Now that we have done this, we need to add the configuration of our application configuration, where we are going to actually enable this JPA repository. So let me implement that, and then again, I will guide you through it. And here we are. So this is our configuration class. Here, as you can see, we have our normal add configuration annotation, basically telling Spring this is the configuration class. And then we also have annotation to enable the JPA repository so that we can actually use it in our class, in our project. Here we have to provide two things. So like the value here is basically the package name for this base class. So base repository class, which is the implementation class that we have created. And that's it. So there is no special configuration here. Now that we have done this, so we have created our configuration, we have created our repository, we want to create one of the entities. So let me create a new package, a new entity, and then I'll again explain you what we have there. And here it is. So we have created one of our entities. Its name is address. So just think of it as a actual location address. I don't know. So this is just some context that our project will have. Doesn't really matter what you create here. So the important thing is that it has @entity annotation, telling Spring this is an entity class. It has two properties, ID and the name. So ID will be our primary key of this table. So think of this as a database table. And we can here annotate it with @ID, and also there is this how this ID will be generated, so how this value will be generated. So you can provide a strategy. You can take a look at this generation type, and you can see different strategies that are available and which one to use. Now we also have our name. It's annotated with @column, so this is a column within our table, and the important part is it's not nullable, so this cannot be null. The address always must have a name. Okay, now that we have done this, we are going to be creating a repository for our address, so address repository. Let me create that and I'll show you what we have. So here it is, actually quite simple implementation. So it's also an interface of our address repository, and you can see that it extends the distributed repository interface that we created, and the type of the entity in our case is address, because this is an address repository. And of course there is @repository annotation telling Spring this is a repository for one of the entities. Great. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to create a service for our address. So basically just some class that enables us to interact with this entity, to create it, to delete it, whatever. So let's create a service class for this, and then I'll guide you through it, what we have there. And here it is. Here's our service for the addresses. As you can see, it's a simple class. It's annotated with service annotation, telling Spring this is a service class. We are injecting here our repository, so the address repository that we created. So this will provide us with some methods that we need for our addresses, like in case where we want to create a new address, we are using repository save. So we create a new Java object, set the properties that we need, and then we execute the save using our repository, which if you jump to it, goes to this CRUD repository, blah, blah, and then you can see the implementation in the simple JPA repository that I showed you earlier. Okay, let me get rid of this. And then the other method that we have is to find the address. So basically you're providing the ID, and then it's finding the address by ID. We can actually maybe change the name here and just mention that it's find address by ID. Okay, so that would be everything for the service. Now we would maybe like to write a single test to see if this actually works. So if we're writing integration tests, we're going to be using our H2 database, and then we want to check, okay, can I actually create some address and find it by the ID? Before we can write a test, we need to add our configuration for the H2. So let me create that, and then I will explain you what we have there. And here it is. So I have created a new directory here called resources. So within the test module, a new directory called resources, a new file called application properties, where I'm providing some data source configuration for our database that we're going to be used for our integration test. So it's I'm using H2, so I need to provide the driver, blah, blah, so that the URL and some username and password. So it doesn't actually matter what you put here for the username and password, so that should work. And now we are free to create some tests. So let me create one test for our address entity, and then I'm going to explain you what we have there. Okay, so here we have our test class, but before we take a look at it, I want you to change some things. So when I wrote the test and tried to run it, I got some errors, so I had to adjust some things which were made wrong. So in our configuration class, where we are enabling the JPA repository, you need to remove .impl from the end of the string, so that all of the repositories are being scanned by Spring, so that Spring can find them all in this package. So all of your repositories should be within this package, so like address repository, otherwise it cannot find this bean. So that's one change. And the other change is in the address, in the ID getter. So you want to change the strategy to the UUID, because when we're using an identity, it does not work with the H2 database for some reason. I am not able to figure out why. This used to work with older Spring versions, but with the latest one that I'm currently using. So if we take a look at the build Gradle file, you can see that we're using the version 3.00. For some reason, this doesn't work and I cannot figure it out why at the moment. If I figure it out, I'll address it in one of the other videos. But so after you have done those changes, you should be able to add your integration test. It looks like this. So it's within the test module. You can see it here, named address service integration test, but you can name it whatever you want. And basically what we do there is we create one of the addresses calling the service. So the address service, we create the address, provide it with some name, and then we assert that this address is not null, so that it's actually created. And then we use our other method to find this address by the ID. So this will have some ID. We use that one to find it, and then we verify that this object is not null, and then we extract the name and verify that the name is equal, that the name is equal to the one that we provided here. So it's quite simple. In next tutorials, we're going to be expanding on these services, and we're going to take a look at different things we can do with JPA. So this was just an introduction video, I would say so. Okay, then if there are any questions or if something is unclear, please do write me in the comments below and I will try to address them. I will see you then in the next video.